dude, I would call him, right? And he would eventually, like, he just get sidetracked. And sometimes I'd call him, I go, Dream, are you going to call me back or what? And that's when he'd call it. He'd leave a message. Dennis, I've been calling you for weeks. How come you have not called me back? I'm telling you, I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted right now. I gotta go. You know, like, he just fuck with you. He would just fuck with you, man. Oh God, I tell you my favorite Dusty story ever, and it changed my life. Dusty changed my life many times. But in 1994, I think it was I think it was like November of 94. We were talking, and I could vent to him. When he was booking, you could only get pieces of his time. But Bischoff had sent him out the pasture, because he wanted to book, with, Sullivan or whoever it was at the time.
Yep.
And Dusty was out the pasture, but they never stopped paying him because, they didn't want him to go to WWF.
Right. Yep.
So Eric used Dusty more of a consulary back then, so he had time and he was bored. So anytime I called him, he'd always call me right back then. And I can remember just bitching up a storm at one point. In 94, I really felt like I had some of the tools. I didn't have everything I needed, but I wasn't looking for fucking any world titles. I just was looking to have that early Jake Roberts, Rick Rude spot. The ones, if Jake walked out there or Rick walked out there, you did not know who was going to win. I don't mean together. I'm talking about whoever they went against. You never knew what was going to happen because of those two guys. And that's the element of doubt. That's all I ever really wanted to try to achieve that, for wrestling, because I didn't think I'd get more than that. Then I'd go back to being a color commentator. But one night I was bitching up a storm, and Dusty just let me vent until I said, Dream, I know I'm never going to be you or Rick or Hulk. I know I'm never going to be the world champion, but these motherfuckers, Dennis, what did you just say? Now I feel kind of stupid, right? I go, Well, Dusty, I know I'm never going to be you or Rick. No, D, what did you say after that? I said, well, I'm never going to be the world champion. He said, then what the fuck are you doing it for? Dallas, you piss me off sometimes. As hard as you work, you've accomplished so much more than anybody ever believed before. Dallas, if you don't believe it, if you don't believe that you could be the world champion, you need to get the fuck out of our business right now. And Johnny, I felt like he reached in the phone and just bitch slapped me.
Right, yeah.
And he kept talking. And I can't tell you a thing he said after that, but I know exactly what I did. And next to the phone, there was a ledger pad. It's just freaking 90s. There's, no cell phones yet. So you leave messages for people. So I grabbed that pad. And while he was talking, I wrote down, I will be the champion in 5 years or less. And it was 4 years, 4 months, and 14 days. I stepped in the ring with Rick and Hulk and Sting. Now, I've told that story on Cameo to different Cameo people about just inspirational behind-the-scenes stories. And one day when I'm telling that story on Cameo, maybe the 35th time, who knows, I realized, holy shit. 4 years, 4 months, and 14 days earlier, I told Dusty, I know I'm never going to be you or Rick or Hulk. Yet that night, I step in the ring, April 11th, 1999, with Rick and Hulk, and Dusty's retired. The franchise, Sting.
Yep.
And Rick takes the diamond cutter in the middle. 1, 2, 3. Savage, who made me, hands me the world title. Like, I manifested that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, I can't believe that. And I never realized that until I told the story probably the 30th time, you know, and I was like, wow, I've manifested so many things into reality. It's really mind boggling, just like Cody has. Like, I know Cody sees himself walking out of there with that Universal title. He won't tell anybody, including me. He won't tell anybody that. But in his mind, that's what's happening.